Well, a very, very happy Monday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Now, just a quick reminder normally we're on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This week, this will be our only show. And for people that may have missed it last week, I made an announcement last Monday that we're only going to do one show this week. And the reason for that is I'm going to be the color analyst on ESPN Plus for the Big West Championships up at Cal State Fullerton that start on Wednesday at noontime. So I'll be on the road, and we'll rejoin you next Monday at 9 a.m. But with that being said, make sure you send in all your questions, comments, concerns, and after this weekend, we got a lot of concerns. But before we get into everything, and I got a ton of information to get out to you this morning, please, if you're maybe first time or you've been watching, you haven't subscribed, it doesn't cost a penny. Please subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you like it. Hit like, turn on your notifications so you will never miss an episode. And again, we try to do 3 a week, but this week I got the opportunity to be on ESPN Plus and doing a bunch of games, a ton of games, at least 7 games this week, if not 8. So I'm looking forward to that, and then we'll rejoin you next Monday. Um, Man, it was a rough weekend for the Padres, but you know what? It was a rough weekend for the Dodgers as well. And like Jonathan was saying, as we were getting ready for the show today, he goes, "Man, if there's a silver lining, the Dodgers got beat 3 straight. Yeah, they got beat by the Angels at Dodger Stadium 3 straight, and the Angels flat out outplayed them all weekend long. And we'll get into that. We'll get into the standings a little bit later on, but let's take a look at our Padres, and then I'm going to go back and look at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Padres now with an off day today. They open up a 3-game series tomorrow in Toronto at the Rogers Center. And then they'll move into Atlanta next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before they come back home a week from tonight against the Miami Marlins. And that'll be followed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. But the Padres right now sitting at 27-18. They finished 2-4 on the homestand. They took 2 out of 3 from the Angels, and then they get swept by the Seattle Mariners. And we're down 0-3 now in the Vetter Cup. And I don't think we're going to win the Vetter Cup. A lot of things that have to happen. And I know people are overly concerned about the Vetter Cup this morning, but the Padres play up there August 25th through the 27th. Padres, the run differential is the tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker. And the Padres are way behind in the tiebreaker. So it doesn't look like we're going to win the Vetter Cup in its inaugural year. But anyways, nonetheless, they get swept by Seattle. Padres were outscored by the Mariners 15-3. I got some numbers for you. They're just going to choke a horse. Padres in the series, they were 0 for 21 with runners in scoring position. They couldn't even get a flare over the first baseman's head down the right field line with runners in scoring position. 0 for 21. And then you take a look at 2 of the Padre big boys. Manny Machado, 0 for 11. He had a walk yesterday, but he's 0 for 11 for the series. And then Jackson Merrill, he had 5 strikeouts in the series, went 1 for 11 with a walk. And guys are going to get hot and they're going to get cold, but it was a rough time to get cold this weekend. Because it wasn't like they were throwing their ace guys. I mean, Luis Castillo didn't throw in the series. Logan Gilbert didn't throw in the series. George Kirby didn't throw in the series. And, they had guys that aren't really established big league pitchers aside from Brian Wu, who threw a great game on Sunday. Those are guys the Padres should have been able to hit. But, hey, the peaks and valleys of a Major League Baseball season. Am I going to, stand on the cliff right now and think I'm going to fall? No. But I saw some things I didn't like. I didn't like some of the body language over the weekend. They weren't playing well. You gotta keep fighting. Got to keep battling. And it looked like a lot of guys were starting to feel sorry for themselves yesterday in Sunday afternoon's ball game. Okay, a couple of other notes. A couple of guys that had good weekends. Luis Vries, 5 for 11 in the series, looked great. Xander Bogaerts, 4 for 11. Those guys swung the bat very, very well in the series. But Merrill and Machado were awful. I mean, Fernando got a home run. He had a double. He had 3 hits in the series. He went 1 for 4, 1 for 4, and 1 for 4. Okay, that's fine. You'd like him to do a little bit more damage, but hey, he had 3 hits. 2 of them were for extra bases, a double and a home run, 12th homer of the year. Padres now, let me give you some numbers here. And a couple of them are really amazing. Padres are 16-8 at home. Good home record. Road record, as they head out on a 6-game trip, they're 11-10. The month of May, they're only a game over 500 right now. 8-7. Home series, they lost to the Mariners. That's their only home series they've lost so far. They're 6-1, and road series are 3-4. But check these 2 numbers out. I found these amazing. Against the American League, the Padres are 10-13 against the American League. And then when they play the National League, they're killing people. They're 17-4 against the National League. But a losing record right now against the American League at 10-13. I thought that was interesting. But 17-4 against the National League. Good stuff. Okay, let's go back to, and we're going to go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we're going to talk about the left field position. And I've been talking about that. Friday night, Petco Park, game took 2 hours and 30 minutes. Another sellout, 41,336. We saw this in a couple of games. Friday night, J.P. Crawford homered on the first pitch we saw from Stephen Kolek. And we saw Fernando do it the other night. On Saturday night, I think it was yesterday, it did the same thing. I think it was the other night. Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. And then Rowdy Tellez and Cal Raleigh each hit 2-run homers off of Kolek. And I love the paper on Sunday. Go, well, he didn't really pitch that bad. Well, the numbers didn't say that. He went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and gave up 3 home runs. And they're talking, well, he made a bad pitch here, he made a bad pitch there. He gave up 3 homers. He gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. That's not a good outing. His first loss of the year. He's 2-1. ERA came in with a 0.00, but now he's at 2.33. Offensively, Vries went 3 for 4 that night. His 5th double. Jake Cronenworth, an RBI double in the 9th to avert the shutout. He also had a triple. That was about all she wrote on Friday night. The end of the day, the rookie right-hander Logan Evans, solid 6 innings, 7 hits, no runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Bullpen was outstanding. Colin Snyder gave up a run there in the 9th inning. Padres struck out 9 times that night. So they get beat Friday night. And then Saturday night, 2 hours and 43 minutes, 42,240. Another sellout. Padres get beat 4-1. Cal Raleigh led off the 7th inning, homer off of Adrian Morejon to snap a 1-1 tie. Mariners added 2 more in the top of the 9th off of Alec Jacob. Padres' only run came on a 2-out homer in the 4th inning by Gavin Sheets off of Emerson Hancock. Not exactly a household name, but Hancock, he hung in there, kind of was on a pitch count, went 4 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run, a walk, 3 strikeouts. And then they went to their bullpen. Bullpen did a very nice job. And watching Andres Munoz pitch, I always think about what it would have been like if he'd have been with the Padres. But the Padres made that big trade with the Mariners, and Munoz went in that deal, and he's become one of the top closers in all of baseball. Nick Pivetta pitched great. Just not good enough. 6 innings, 2 hits, a run, a walk, 7 strikeouts. ERA 2.86, doing a great job. He had to go to the bullpen. Morejon didn't have a good night. A third of an inning, 2 hits, a run. Gave up that home run. Estrada was fine. Jason Adam for an inning. Alec Jacob came in, got nicked for 2, and then Yuki Matsui got 2/3 of an inning, got out of it. The offense Saturday night, Fernando, 1 for 4, his 6th double of the year. Vries had a hit, a walk. He was on a couple of times. Xander Bogaerts, 3 for 4. Couple of stolen bases. I don't know what the hell he was doing, stealing second base, standing up. Almost came off the bag or could have pulled a groin muscle. I don't know. I saw that over the weekend. A couple of veteran players. I saw Mookie Betts do that the other night. He went into second base, didn't slide. Got to slide. And other than that, I mean, Jason Hayward had a little ground ball single to left. But nothing fancy that night. And then yesterday, Seattle beats the Padres 6-1. Mariners took a 3-0 series lead now in the Vetter Cup. Brian Wu, very impressive performance. He's a nice pitcher out of Cal Poly. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Gave up that home run yesterday. Bullpen was fine. Michael King wasn't great. I thought he kind of ran into some bad luck. He had that little swinging bunt by Rosarena up the third base line, and then a ball hit back to him. He deflected it, slowed it down to where the base runner was able to beat it out to bring home another run. But King's numbers yesterday: 5 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Gave up that home run to Randy Rosarena. Offensively yesterday, only guy that had 2 hits, Jose Iglesias, who we had not even seen on the homestand. I was wondering if the guy was hurt or was on vacation. He hadn't played at all. 2 for 3 yesterday, hitting in that number 8 spot. Bogarts had a hit. Vries had a hit. Fernando led off with his 12th homer, 0-2 pitch, that sweeper for Wu. He hit it out of the ballpark. Elias Diaz hit a hit. Yesterday, final totals were Seattle 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 8 runners left, 5 for 14. The Mariners were yesterday with runners in scoring position. Padres 1 run, 7 hits, 1 error, 6 runners left, 0 for 6, and again 0 for 21 in the series. Now, I want to urge you to send in your questions, and we're going to get into a topic, and I realized this morning, there was actually an article about this, and I had already written this down before I went to bed last night, but we're going to get into this. Oh, by the way, I got to mention this before I forget. Remember on Friday, we were going through all the standings, both the American and National League, and I told you that I thought Brandon Hyde had to be in a lot of trouble. Well, Brandon Hyde was in a lot of trouble. He got fired over the weekend. I've been there through the rebuild of the Baltimore Orioles, and they've been playing so bad. And they don't have pitching. Mike Elias, general manager, under tremendous fire right now because he hasn't gotten pitching. And people are saying, man, Brandon Hyde's walking the plank, but the front office never addressed pitching. They did sign Kyle Gibson, and that was a disaster because they released him over the weekend. They signed him late in spring training, and he came in and couldn't get anybody out. All these pitchers that sign late, they never turn into everything. We saw Blake Snell last year. He was awful when he first came in. Jordan Montgomery, who's now out for the year over in Arizona, he was dreadful last year. So bad the owner banged on him after the season, saying what a disappointment he was. Now Blake Snell came back after his first 5 to 7 starts, came back and pitched like Blake Snell did the year before when he won the Cy Young in San Diego. But Brandon Hyde got fired. So we got 3 major league managers now that have been fired. Derek Shelton, and I told you that was going to happen too before it happened. When you watch teams play and they're not playing well and their record's not good, and you watch mental mistakes, lethargic play, uninspired ball players, that's when the manager is going to get fired. Now, that wasn't necessarily the case in Colorado. They're just bad. They don't have enough players because they played hard for Buddy Black. There's no question about that, and everybody will tell you that. But Baltimore, they could win the division. I mean, 2 years ago, Brandon Hyde was American League Manager of the Year in 2023, and they just haven't gotten the pitching that they need. But he got whacked. So we've already had 3 major league managers fired this year. Okay, now I want to get into left field because I've been talking about this, and we talked about the catching, but the catching's been okay. You always are trying to upgrade, and there may be a catcher out there at the trading deadline you could bring in to give you a little more offensive pop, but they really love Diaz and Maldonado and the way they're handling this pitching staff. But left field, that problem is not going to go away. I mean, right now, Jason Hayward has been your guy. He's played out there, 19 starts in left field. He's hitting 177, 227 on base percentage, and a 278 slug. Now they've been trying to get Gavin Sheets out there. Gavin Sheets started, 2 games in left field this year? He's played like left field like 10 times in his career. Gavin Sheets needs to be the left fielder. But he's dangerous out there. He's not a good outfielder. He hasn't played out there. He played first base, and he's not great at first base either. He's a designated hitter is what he is. but you need him in left field. And they've got to work with him. On this road trip, man, he had to be out there every day early working on fly balls, taking good routes. That's the answer right now, unless you're going to go out and make a trade. And I don't know if there's somebody available that the Padres have their eye on that they think they can get at the trading deadline. But Gavin Sheets, for me, needs to be the left fielder. Jason Hayward, God love him, he needs to be released. You need to DFA Jason Hayward. You really do. And I hate to say that because he's a good guy, he's a good teammate, and he's had a great major league career. But like I always say, and we talk about it all the time, it doesn't usually end well for ball players. They either hang on too long or they get released and they can't get re-signed. And a lot of times it doesn't end well. A guy gets hurt and his career's over. Jason Hayward has had a hell of a career. And there's a place for Jason Hayward in baseball if he wants to work with young players and, work in the farms and work as a hitting coach, doing whatever. But I think you're going to have to DFA him very soon. And I think they would have already DFA'd him, but there's nobody out there right now. Padres don't have anything to trade. I mean, you don't want to trade any of your top prospects for a left fielder. And it might be a rent-a-vet. You might be waiting for the trading deadline to rent a guy. You give him a double-A arm or double-A middle infielder and an arm. Do whatever. You got to get some help in left field. Now, your other options haven't worked out. Oscar Gonzalez, he's not an everyday major league player. And he was okay. He wasn't great. And he wasn't great defensively either. But he got 12 starts out there. And he got returned to the minor leagues, hitting around 240 in that neighborhood. Really didn't hit with the power that he hit with down in the minor leagues. Terso Ornelas, a young kid from Tijuana, good guy, had a great season a year ago, having a mediocre season right now in AAA. He got returned to the minors. He made 4 starts, 1 for 14. Connor Joe got called up, went 0 for 9. I think he had a walk, but 0 for 9. He got traded to Cincinnati. Brandon Lockridge is a good 4th, more like a 5th outfielder that I've mentioned. I like Brandon Lockridge. Brandon Lockridge can help the ball club. But Brandon Lockridge is a 5th outfielder for me. But there's a place for him. He's a 26 guy. And he can help you win ball games. There's no doubt about it. The guy can play defense. He can bunt. He can run, and occasionally he'll run into one, and get a base hit like he did last week, where he got that 2-run bases loaded single. But he's a 5th guy. You can't count on him day in and day out. So Gavin Sheets needs to be the guy, at least against right-handed pitching. But you got to figure it out, because the Padres can't give an out away every time the left fielder comes up. I mean, their numbers total, when you match them up, are as bad as any combination of left fielders in baseball right now. And that has to get better. And that puts a lot of pressure on all the other guys in the lineup. And you're not going to get a ton out of the catching spot. Whatever you get out of the catching spot, for me, especially when Maldonado's catching, is a real plus. Now, credit to Maldonado. He does still have a little power. He'll run into one occasionally. And he'll bunt, and he can do some little things, hit the ball to the right side. But he's going to hit, hopefully, at least 200, maybe under 200, like he has the last several years. But, he's kind of right there on that borderline right now. And Elias Diaz is going to, he's the guy that's going to probably hit maybe 9, 10 home runs this year. Going to hit in the 240s, 250s, maybe even the 260s if he gets hot. But you got to figure out left field. What would your take be on left field? Give me, what do you do? If you're AJ Preller, and AJ, I'll tell you what, he's had the Midas touch the last couple of years. The other thing that's kind of weird? David Peralta. What happened to David Peralta? Is he still hidden in a cage somewhere looking for a job? How come David Peralta didn't get signed? He did a good job. Didn't he do a good job for the Padres last year? I thought so. But, at this point in time, I think I want to get a little bit younger. But what happened to David Peralta? He did a nice job last year and couldn't get a contract. Hey, one real quick note on you, Darvish. And I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he'll pitch in Atlanta. Maybe they're going to send him out to make another rehab start. Maybe he's going to throw a simulated game on this road trip. But he's on the road trip to Toronto. I thought we may see him pitch in Toronto, but they're saying no, he's not going to pitch in Toronto. Now he pitched last Wednesday. Remember, he pitched those 4 innings for El Paso over in Las Vegas, and he bought the team and the staff a catered steak dinner after the ball game. So I don't know what's going on with you, Darvish, but they said he's not pitching in Toronto. I mean, would they throw him maybe on Friday night in the first game in Atlanta? And by the way, Atlanta's playing much better baseball right now. Yeah, they're playing much better baseball. Okay, we're going to get to the questions here in just a minute. We'll get to Coach's Mailbag in a minute, but let's get to the National League West standings and take a good hard look at everything that's going on with the standings. Okay, Dodgers at 29 and 18. Padres sitting at 27 and 18, a game back. The Giants had a big weekend. 28 and 19, a game back. Arizona 25 and 22, 4 games back. And then you got the Colorado Rockies 8 and 38. How about that? 20 and a half games back, and they're already 19 and a half games back in the wild card. Okay, Dodgers get swept. 3 straight at Dodger Stadium. Friday night they get beat 6-2. Saturday night they get beat 11-9. And Sunday afternoon, yesterday, they get beat 6-4. Dodgers, I'm going to tell you, and I know you Padre fans aren't going to feel sorry for them and send them a get well card. They've got so many problems right now. It's unbelievable. And it started last week. They DFA'd their veteran catcher, the longest tenured position player. Okay, Kershaw's been there 18 years, and we'll get to Kershaw in a minute. But Austin Barnes had been the longest tenured position player. And he got DFA'd last week. They called up their top prospect, Dalton Rushing. And by the way, this kid looks good. I mean, hard when you see this kid play, it's hard to argue that they DFA'd Austin Barnes. But I know there are people disappointed in the Dodger clubhouse about Barnes getting let go. But this Dalton Rushing, wow. He got this guy's got some pop from the left side. Looks like to be a pretty good catcher. Got a good throwing arm, and he was their top prospect. And he was hitting over 300. And they felt they had to bring him up. They couldn't keep him in the minor leagues any longer, so they bring him up. Okay, Saturday night, and I watched this. Kershaw made his 2025 debut Saturday night. There were times where he looked like the old Clayton Kershaw, the big 12-6 breaking ball. And then there were times where he had a lot of rust, and you wondered, wow, is he, after a performance like this, you think he may want to retire or not finish the year? But I heard him in the post game. He was very upbeat. I mean, his numbers weren't good, but there were signs of him being pretty good. He went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a home run. He gave up 3 runs in the top half of the first inning. And again, he hadn't pitched since early last season in 2024. Then Kirby Yates gives up 3 runs, and he leaves with right hamstring tightness. Now they're calling it right hamstring strain, and he's been placed on the IL. Yesterday, they released Chris Taylor, and after Austin Barnes, the other longest tenured Dodger was Chris Taylor. So they release him, they pay him off, plus they've got to pay him for next year a $4 million buyout, so he becomes a free agent. And they activated Tommy Edman prior to the ball game yesterday, and Tommy went 0 for 4. They open up a series tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Dodger Stadium. It'll be a 3-game series before they head out on the road, and they got a tough road trip coming up. Okay, the Giants, they swept the A's 9-1, 1-0, 3-2. Now, here's what's interesting. Justin Verlander for the Giants. He's still looking for a win. He hadn't won yet. He's 0-3 in his ERA. It's 4.33. Yesterday, he couldn't get through 5 innings. He went 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. But he walked 5 and struck out 1, threw 84 pitches in 4 innings, and they took him out. And they end up winning the ball game 3-2 yesterday. Verlander doesn't have a win. And they're paying him a nice little chunk of money for the 1 year he'll be there. Arizona, by the way, took 2 of 3 from Colorado. Friday night, they won 8-0. Saturday, they lost in a slugfest, 14-12. And Sunday, they shut out the Rockies 1-0. Colorado 1-5 since firing Buddy Black. So that gets you the whole news on that in the division. Padres got to play better. This is the first time where I've been disappointed with the Padres. They didn't have a good week. You know, they lost that first game to the Angels. They bounced back, took the final two, um, and they just didn't look good. And you're going to have those, but man, I'll tell you what. To this point, the Giants aren't going away. The series with the Diamondbacks and Dodgers at Dodger Stadium starting tonight will be interesting. Dodgers, they can score runs, but man, they can't stop anybody on the mound right now. So we'll see what they get done tonight. And yesterday it was really weird. Tony Gonsolin started, and like the fifth pitch of the game, somehow or another, he cut his thumb. He's like bleeding out there, wiping blood down on his pants side. So, you know, he didn't have a good outing yesterday, but I'm sure cutting his finger didn't help matters. But, anyways, okay, let's get to some questions. Then we're going to get you the weekly update on our boys, Ethan Salas and Leo Vries, and a couple of other things we're going to do. Let's get to our coach's mailbag here, see what we got today. All right, Surix. Do you think King has any loyalty to San Diego, or will he test the free agency for a good fit? I think he has to test free agency. Not only that, it's not so much the loyalty. And I get what you're saying, because I'd probably be that guy that I'd want to stay with the team I'm having success with, because you know what? The grass isn't always greener. Yeah, it's greener in money, but as far as performance, if your family likes where you're playing, they're comfortable, you're going to be comfortable. Yeah, your bank account may get a lot better by going out in the free agent market. I mean, Michael King, the way he's pitching right now, he'd be one of the top free agents during the offseason. Now, he's got a deal for next year in place right now. There's also a buyout there. I think he's got to test free agency. Not only, it's not about the loyalty. The Major League Baseball Players Association, they put a lot of pressure on these agents and these players to go out and get the very, very best deal. Don't settle for less money, because they want to continue to drive the salaries up. And I got news for you. I'm to the point right now, and I'm all for the players. Okay, I'm all for the player. I know how tough it is to get to the big leagues, but I'm going to tell you, somewhere or another, this has to end. And I don't. If I'm an owner, I don't want to pay guys for what they've done. I want to pay guys for what they're going to do. And I just think after 2026, I think there's going to be a lockout. I don't see any way there's not, because the owners are going to dig their heels in, and they're going to try to smoke out the players and smoke out the Players Association. It could get really ugly, because these salaries have to end. Because, you know, they always say, well, you know, they're making money. They're making money off of you. I mean, the amount of money to go to a Major League Baseball game is absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening. For families that their kids love baseball, they can't maybe even afford to go to one game a year. And I know we've got 21 sellouts here in San Diego, and that's great. But I'm telling you right now, the price of tickets, parking, food, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's all over baseball. There are some places you can get in, like the Angels. The Angels are very affordable, $20 to park. I bought 12.50 tickets when we took my grandson a few weeks ago. I can't wait to go back to Angel Stadium. It was a fun experience. I'd been there in many years. It was a lot of fun. Go in there and watch a ball game. You get in your car, you're right next to the freeway. Man, you're home before you know it. Even though you live in San Diego, you're home in an hour and 15 minutes without traffic. But I mean, Dodger Stadium, ridiculous. Petco Park, the amount of money it costs to go there is insane. I talked to a guy the other night that I used to play with. I saw him, and I go, "How you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I went to the game last night." I go, "Oh, how much you pay to park?" He goes, $55. $55 to park? Are you serious? But you know, that's normal, and really that's cheap compared to some places. So, anyways, I think we're going to have a lockout. I think Michael King will opt out of this deal. Not that the Padres can't re-sign him to a long-term deal. I think Dylan Cease is gone. I don't think we're going to see him. again after this year in a Padres uniform. And I think the Padres may make a run at Michael King, but I think he has to decline the mutual option that he has with the ball club, get his buyout, and figure out where he's going to go. That's what I think. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, Micah, heard Darvish is traveling with team. When could he return? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, I thought one or two things. I thought he would probably pitch in Toronto or he would go out and make another rehab start. But I don't know. He's on the trip. I don't know what the plan is. I really don't know what the plan is. Maybe he's going to throw a simulated game tomorrow and then maybe, pitch over the weekend in Atlanta. I don't know. It's like top secret right now. But that's what I got for you on that. Padres fan, at least Dodgers lost when the Padres lost. That's right. But you know what? At some point in time, we got to start winning again. Padres aren't playing that great. I mean, thank goodness they got off to a hot start because you know what? I'm seeing a lot of tendencies right now that we saw at different points in time last year. Got to stay hot. I don't expect guys to hit 340 or 350. I mean, Fernando is coming back to earth a little bit average wise. Machado was hitting 340 going into the weekend. He went 0 for 11. Manny's like a 283 career hitter. He'll end up hitting around 283, 275 to 283. He'll end up popping the ball. As it starts to heat up, he'll start hitting some more long balls. He's only got 3 home runs and 20 RBIs. Bogarts, I mentioned, got the same amount. Bogarts did a pretty good job at shortstop right now. But yeah, I think as I started out the show today, the silver lining is that the Dodgers lost 3 straight to the Angels. How about the Angels? Ron Washington, he doesn't have much of a bullpen. His starting pitchers are so-so, to say the least. He got a group of veterans and young guys. Man, that Zach Neto, he's a nice shortstop. Noel Shonowell, the first baseman, good player. They've got a couple of good young players. They just don't have enough of pitching. But their week last week, they played the Padres down here, 3 at Petco Park, and went 1-2. Then they had to go up and take on the Dodgers, and they beat them 3 straight. So a 4-2 week for Ron Washington and the Angels. That's good. I want to see the Angels do well. They'll probably end up in the cellar of the American League West, but it is what it is. Okay, let's keep those questions coming. All right, the public comments by the front office about wanting to sign King overseas are interesting. Does it turn Dylan off? I haven't really seen those comments, to be honest with you, but it would turn me off. If I knew that the ball club was just using me as a hired gun, I wouldn't be happy. And depending on the type of mental makeup a player has, and I don't know, I can't sit here and honestly tell you the type of guy Dylan Cease is. I've seen him in interviews, comes across very well, seems like a nice man. But players are going to react one or two ways. They're going to say, screw it, and I'm going to go out and stick the ball up everybody's tailpipe and show these guys that I belong here. Or other players are going to say, screw it, get me the hell out of here. So I don't know what has been said, but, for me, and I've said this going back to last year regarding Dylan Cease and Michael King. I think Michael King has really, really good stuff, really good stuff. And I think he's the more consistent pitcher. But when Dylan Cease is on, he's one of the top guys in baseball. But you don't know what you're getting from one start to the next. Because I've noticed with Dylan, like a lot of pitchers, there's not a lot of middle ground with him. He's either really on or really struggles, and he's out of the ball game by the 5th inning. And for me, even though Michael King throws across his body, and you never want to teach a guy to throw across his body, that's his style. And he's getting away with it and doing a great job. I mean, I wish we could keep them both, but that's not possible. What are you going to do with Luis Ariz? Nobody's even talking about that. The guy's over 300 again. Guy's doing a great job. I mean, Luis Ariza, and I talked about him a week ago. I love the way the guy plays. With the weekend that he had right now, well, he's still a little under 300, 297. He'll get hot on this road trip. He'll get rolling. He's got a great swing and a great approach, man. Attacks that baseball. So yeah, we'll see. And like I said, I haven't really heard the comments about the what the front office thinks. But if Cease's hurt him, he's going to react one or two ways. And I would hope that he would be motivated and say, "I'm going to show these guys. I'm going to stick it everybody's tailpipe, including the organizations." A competitive guy. That's the way they attack things. But that's an interesting one. That's one we're going to have to keep our eye on. Okay, let's keep rolling here. We got a lot of questions coming in today. Again, if you've got questions out there, I want to hear from you. Go ahead and type them in, and we're going to get to them right now. Okay, our weekly update on the Padres' top two prospects, Ethan Salas and Leo Vries. I promised every Monday during the season that I would give you an update. And we know from the last few weeks that Ethan Salas is not playing. And he hasn't played since April 17th, and he's probably not going to play until sometime in July. My birthday's on July 1st. Hopefully he's back playing by July 1st, but there's no guarantee. Right now he's got stress reaction in the lower part of his back. That's not good. But we saw this with Fernando his rookie year. Remember, Fernando played like 86 games his rookie year, and he missed the latter part of the year because he had that stress reaction in his back. And so, same thing with Ethan Salas. And, I've told you, and I hate to repeat it because the numbers are just awful. But again, I'm going to state this before I give you his numbers. I'm a big Ethan Salas fan. I think this guy's going to be a hell of a player. I think defensively, he's pretty damn good right now. Offensively, I think he's going to be a good player, but he got to get a whole lot better from where he's at right now. He's just not getting the job done. Didn't get the job done last year in low A ball. He hit 206. Not getting the job done in double A. Now, one thing I want you to understand, he'll turn 19 on June 1st. The average age of you take the entire Texas League is about almost 23 years of age. So right now it's almost like 4.5 to 5 years difference for a kid 18 going on 19 here this coming month compared to the guys he's playing against. Okay, so they're trying to force feed him. But I'm a little concerned about the force feeding because offensively his numbers have not been good. They weren't good last year, and they're not good in only 10 games this year, where he's hitting 188 with a 325 on base percentage and a 219 slug. He was 6 for 32 before he went on the IL, a double, 5 RBIs. And again, last time he played was April 17th, and they're saying he probably won't be back until July. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Now, Leo Vries is really having an all-star campaign right now. He was the player of the month in April in the Midwest League, youngest player in the Midwest League, playing high A ball at Fort Wayne. 31 games so far. He's hitting 283 with a 360 on base percentage and a 492 slug. 137 plate appearances, 120 at bats, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 4 homers, 21 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. He's walked 15 times, struck out 28 times, and he's got an OPS right now of 852. Now, defensively, and this is where guys struggle. And again, you got to remember, and I know the minor league ballparks are a lot better than they were 30 and 40 and 50 years ago, but they're still minor league ballparks. But I'm not going to sit here and make an excuse for him. So far, he's had 111 chances. He's made 10 errors. That's too many. He got a 910 fielding percentage. Not good. So he got some work to do on the defensive side and continue to work hard offensively, but he's having an all-star year. What Derek Jeter, wasn't it like Derek Jeter, one of his first years in the minor leagues, he committed 56 errors? Man, that'll make you a little sick when you're making that many errors. I'll tell you that. Okay, we got any more questions out there? I like questions. I'm big on questions. There we go. Steve Tejas. Hi, Coach. Tyler Wade in left field. Steve, I think, and I left Tyler off that. I think he's an option occasionally, but he's another guy that I don't think is an everyday player. And a lot like Brandon Lockridge, I think he can help you. He can come off the bench, swinging from the left side. He's a good bunter. He's got good speed, and he showed in the time that he started in center field for Jackson Merrill, he can play a pretty good outfield. Padres have a lot of guys that are like similar. Wade and Lockridge are similar. You got Jose Iglesias who can play. He played third yesterday. He could play short for a short period of time, but better at second where he's at age wise now. But Tyler Wade is a guy you could throw out there, but he's not going to be an everyday guy. You need to get a legit everyday guy out there. There has to be somebody available at the trading deadline. I'd like to make that move a little bit earlier though. But Steve, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was a good call by you. I can't argue that too much. Okay, Tommy, firing the coach instead of purse holders, sad. Yeah, that happens. Colorado's a mess. I think Pittsburgh's a mess, and I think I'm not going to necessarily blame the new ownership in Baltimore, but it sounds like Mike Elias, the general manager, just kind of sat on his hands during the offseason and didn't address the pitching staff. And everybody in baseball was talking about they needed to get more starting pitching. They lost Corbin Burns. They had Corbin Burns last year. They lost him. You got to replace him, at least him. And they tried to replace him late with Kyle Gibson, and that didn't work out. And they've already released him over the weekend. So, you know what? Bad organizations are bad organizations. And Baltimore's been a bad organization. They brought Mike Elias in. He did a great job of rebuilding the farm system. Still has a ton of young talent there. But, they let Anthony Santander go. And maybe that was a blessing. Santander not swung the bat very well at all for Toronto. And hopefully he doesn't get hot against the Padres. But yeah, the Colorado situations, I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to approach it because they've got to figure out a way to develop players there because the ownership, Dick Monfort and his brother have shown that they don't want to spend any money. And the money they've spent, Chris Bryant, man, what a waste. What a waste. I mean, I don't know when he's going to come back. He had like back ablation surgery. That's crazy. But Tommy, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We got anything else out there? Yeah, here come these questions. Hey, Coach, should Padres DFA Hayward and give David Peralta a shot? I was a big David Peralta fan for years and years and years. And when he got traded from Arizona to Tampa Bay a few years ago, I was hoping that the Padres would get him before the Diamondbacks traded him because he wore out the Padres. He did a great job last year. But I think at this point in time, he's older. He's 38 now? Even though he did a good job last year, I don't think you bring him back, especially not having spring training. That's the way I'd look at it. Excuse me. Um, so that's what I got for you on that. Okay, let's take a look at the road trip. And Toronto, third place right now in the AL East. They got some dudes that can hit. Bo Bichette's having a pretty good year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having a pretty good year. Tijuana native, their catcher, Alejandro Kirk. Always like him. Right now, they're 22 and 24. Again, third place in the AL East, 5 games back of the Yankees. Tuesday night at Rogers Center, 407. Right-hander Dylan Cease, 1-2 and a 4.60, coming off 2 really, really good starts last 2 times out, going against veteran right-hander Chris Bassett, 3-2 and a 3.16 ERA. Wednesday, another game at 407. It'll be Padres going right-hander Randy Vasquez, 3-3 and a 3.45 ERA. And Toronto going with the veteran right-hander Kevin Gausman, who's off to a slow start, 3-4 with a 4.59 ERA. And then on Thursday, it'll be a morning game, 10:07. Right-hander Stephen Kolek, 2-1 and a 2.33 ERA, going against right-hander Bowden Francis, 2-6 and a 5.63. After that, Padres move on to Atlanta for a 3-game weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Back home next Monday night, May 26th, to open up a 3-game set against the Miami Marlins, followed by a 3-game series at Petco with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I wonder if Paul Skeens is going to throw in that series. Padres missed him the first time around in Pittsburgh this year, but that'd be kind of fun to see Paul Skeens pitch in person. Okay, reminder. This is our only podcast this week because I'm broadcasting on ESPN Plus the Big West Championships. I would ask you, if you would, please subscribe, please like, and please turn on your notifications. If the Padres were to make some kind of blockbuster deal this week, we will go live whenever I'm off the air at ESPN Plus. It may be at 11 o'clock at night, but if the Padres made a big blockbuster deal, Jonathan will crawl out of bed. I'll be in my hotel room up in the Orange County area, and we'll talk Padre baseball with you. But I don't expect a big blockbuster deal this week. I do expect the Padres to have a good, successful road trip. They're playing a team that's very dangerous in their home ballpark, Toronto. They got some guys that can turn games around. I mentioned Anthony Santander not having a good year, hitting under 200, but hopefully the Padres don't get him hot. And then they move into Atlanta, and Atlanta's playing a lot better baseball. Padres got him early in the year. Remember they had that 0-7 start, that 0-7 West Coast road trip. Padres beat them right out of the gate, 4, and then they went up and got swept by the Dodgers. Well, they're playing much better baseball. And hopefully Padres have a good road trip, get back on the beam after a really not a real great performance this weekend against the Mariners and even against the Angels. They struggled against the Angels, a 2-4 homestand. But anyways, hope everyone has a great week. We'll be back next Monday morning. We'll get you caught up on everything. And again, if something were to break while I'm gone, we will go live whenever I'm off the air, calling college baseball games for the Big West Championship. Until next Monday, Coach John Kentera, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the great questions. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.